What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this I'm going to be talking about what's going on with the market right now, what levels to watch for on Tesla and also on SPY and many other tickers like the QQQ. I'm going to break down what's happening with the charts, what happened in the morning, and what's likely going to happen moving forward. Before I break anything down, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Put in $100 and you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. All right. Anyways, let's talk about the markets. What on earth is going on? So Tesla's still in a great place, in my opinion. Yes, it has been selling off since hitting 250. I warned you guys about this in the morning, but remember, it's still up over 3 point something percent, almost 4% now. It's still holding up quite nicely compared to where it was 2 days ago. Tesla was in the lower 200s not that long ago. It was at 220 just a couple of days ago. And now we're still in the 240s. We're still trying to hold above it. So it's doing fine in my eyes. I don't want to be too pessimistic or negative whatsoever. And now we're going to talk about the market. What just happened to the stock market? Well, SPY got this break above 430. I was talking about this previously. Let me just make this bigger. Sorry about that, guys. So we got this nice break above 430, and that was the trigger for a very bullish move. But this ended up being an opportunity for institutions to reposition. And let me reiterate or like elaborate what that means. So these institutions, they let the market pump, right? They were pumping the market very hard in the morning. Then we reached this resistance zone. This was actually a supply zone. We saw a lot of these rejections in the past between 431.22 to 431.76. Lots of rejections happened historically around there. And we pumped just a little bit more than that to about 432, just a tiny bit higher before we got the rejection. And after the rejection came, we basically saw a knife, and this thing just continued to sell off very hard. So overall, our break above 430 happened, right, in a strong manner. So we got this nice push up, but it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. It didn't last very long. And the shorts used this as an opportunity to double down. They're trying to fight very hard. They're continuing to do it. And we saw Tesla sell off just a little bit. That played a role. We have a very nice looking, kind of like a head and shoulders formation right over here. And we are very close to the 50 right now. But let me break down something else. Basically, SPY was stuck for the last couple of days in this chop zone right over here between 430 and 426, right? Back and forth and back and forth, it was going. Well, we're back in the zone now. So it's back to the boring, price action, except we're at the upper area of it. And for now, we are able to break 430. It could happen again, but for now, we're going to be fighting that as resistance. So the next major resistance is we have some at 429.5, then we have 430 to 430.25, that entire zone right there. If it manages to break that, it could make its way all the way back up to the 431s. Now, if 430, once again, we don't break it for the time being, and we remain at these low levels, then you're going to be watching, okay, supports at 429 to the 50 EMA, which is around 428.82. And that's what's holding us up for now on the 30-minute time frame. So we're kind of sandwiched between 430 and then 428.82, going back and forth for now. But I just want to note that for now, the trend as of right now, it's favoring bears a little bit more as we got this big knife. We have a bearish cross on the PPO. It is favoring them a little bit more, but once again, no confirmation until we break the 50. So if we break below this 50, that's going to lead to a bigger drop into the 428.5 area, then potentially 427.5. But we're holding the 50 for now, so there's no confirmation of it just yet. We have this support right here, the 50 EMA on the 30-minute time frame. So it's just sandwiched going back and forth for now, but it was looking weak in the beginning. It's trying to hold it for now. So it's once again not looking the best, but we're going to be watching support for the time being. Right? Sometimes trading is less about trying to predict everything and more about just looking at confirmation and the trends and support and resistance. As for Tesla came down to this zone right here. I was talking about what I mentioned was if we broke below the 244.45 area, Tesla would likely come down to 242.5. That's historically where Tesla tends to go to. It ended up going down to 242. It's just a little bit lower, so these zones are very close. But now I would draw this out as an entire zone. So 242 to 242.5. This entire zone right here is now going to be acting as support for Tesla. And if it breaks below 242, it's going to come all the way down to 240, then potentially 239.74, which is our 50 EMA. This was holding Tesla up historically, which is why I keep talking about it, but I'm not always going to use this Now, on top of that, as Tesla was pumping, or if it does continue to pump, we have resistance at 245. No, 244.5 is what we're fighting right now. There's some at 245 and 246. uh, this zone right here between 246 and then 247.5. So there's a lot of resistance trying to stop it, and it was stuck between these levels for quite a while. If it breaks 247.5, we're going to be watching a fight at 250. Now, what is Tesla looking like on a technical standpoint? Well, we have this bearish cross on the PPO, and it is looking weaker, a little bit more weak than before. We got this nice rejection. It got a false break above 250. It tried, it just ended up failing, unfortunately. Wasn't a very strong break for now. But once again, it's fine. This is completely fine because it's up 4%. It's holding above 240, which is great compared to where it was a couple of days ago. So it's completely fine. I'm not really worried about Tesla. We're in a very strong place for, the time we're approaching CPI and FOMC. We're very, very amazing right now. I'm still very proud of Tesla. Nothing to be worried about. I warned you guys of a potential sell-off in the morning, but I wasn't sure how low it would go because it depends on where buyers would step in. And that's what typically happens, right? With these big events, Tesla gaps up and it starts slowing down. But anyways, now Tesla's trying to defend. We're seeing some buyers around this 242 area, so we know where a lot of them are stepping in. It's trying to bounce right now, trying to push up above 245. Pretty good for Tesla, but you have to watch resistance. I'm also going to be watching the 5 EMA, which is, exactly at 246. So once again, it's pretty much just stuck between support and resistance, and we're going to watch it from a level to level basis. It is still looking a little weak on the PPO on the 30-minute time frame, but on the smaller time frames, it's trying to gain some strength simultaneously. So as long as it starts holding these levels, we're going to see this curl up a little bit, and Tesla will gain some strength as long as it holds these levels. If it fails to do so, then once again, not going to look too good. It's still just stuck between support and resistance for now, as the market is once again going back and forth and back and forth. On the QQQ, it's fighting for 354. It's also just so happens to be holding the 30-minute 50 EMA. And look at how interesting this was. We got this pump, right? I told you guys the QQQ was looking pretty strong thanks to Tesla. And if it broke 355.5, watch 356. If that broke, watch 357.5 was my area. It went all the way up to 357.66, 16 cents higher than what I was predicting. Super, super close if we got the break. And ultimately, it rejected, came all the way back down, retesting 353, and 353 is a very important support. If that broke, it's going to come all the way down to the lower 350s. For now, it's holding above the 50. Tesla's helping it out too. Amazon played a big role in why the market ended up dropping the way it did. But for now, market is still holding between support and resistance, and we're going to be waiting for a bigger move based off confirmation. On SPY, it's still fighting. It's still sandwiched between 430, the 430 zone as resistance, 430 to 430.25, and then support at the 50 EMA. It's just going back and forth and back and forth. It's kind of stuck right now, and a big move will come eventually. But either way, guys, I think we're still in a very good place. You have to remember, SPY is very high right now compared to where it was before. We're almost at, we basically broke the August highs, but we're still trying to fight for 430, but it's still in a very good place for next week. Tesla's now starting to pump, looking pretty good. Let's see Tesla try to break this resistance right over here, 246. Let's see Tesla break it. Come on, Tesla. I'm really hoping it does. But anyways, if you're going to be watching Tesla or scalping it, always use the smaller time frames too. Tesla's now above 246, trying to fight for 246. Watch the smaller time frames as well. So you can use the 5-minute and the 3-minute. I like to look at many charts at once. And always remember, now we have the 5-minute 50 at around 247.28. That's also very interesting. It's holding up nicely. It's trying to bounce right here. It held 242, and the trend is starting to change just a little bit on the smaller time frames. It's gaining strength there, but on the 30-minute, it needs more time and more confirmation. But don't worry about Tesla. As long as it holds above like 240 or so, it's completely fine for next week. It's still very, very strong overall on the bigger time frames. I'm not worried whatsoever. So just watch these levels and get ready for your trades, and we'll see what happens to SPY if it does manage to get its way up or if it just gets stuck for the remainder of the day. It is a Friday, and we could get, once again, a Friday sell-off if the shorts double down or if there's a lot of like profit taking, because a lot of these positions were open quite a while back, right? Especially like a couple of weeks ago. So it could still happen. We just have to watch for the confirmation for the time being and just be very patient, okay? Thank you all for listening. I'll be back for a later video. Hopefully this one wasn't too long, but thank you once again, and I'll see you guys later. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still very bright, and peace out.